up, guys? I'm doing a random live stream here in Charleston, South Carolina. I didn't kind of invite people to this live stream, so it's just kind of like a random check-in. Just walking through the park and just wanted to talk on a few concepts. I know my last live stream was pretty crazy. I got a lot of views and it got shared by a bunch of influencers. And so pretty much this live stream is for anybody who wants to ask like health questions, spiritual questions, whatever you want to do. I'm pretty much just a guy who's went really far into health to kind of cure myself of a few things. And obviously all roads led to Rome, which was the dry fasting aspect. And because it's the most hardcore detox you can possibly do. And I got what I was looking for. So there is a video that was released by one of my favorite YouTubers called Vegetable Police, and he released it yesterday, and it was friendly, but a lot of comments under it was obviously very polarizing. So a lot of people don't believe you can dry fast beyond 3 days, and they're seeing me dry fasting, beyond 20 days. So it was pretty, these concepts really disrupt people's perspective on things, because if you can starve yourself for that long, what else is possible? It's kind of like a really eye-opening experience. And they see that I'm not crazy, I'm not skinny, I'm not like someone who's just doing crazy things. But, this is a path that's least taken, because it's just so arduous and it's a lot of suffering involved. And you're challenging your body to a crazy degree. So I would say that the amount of days you last on the dry fast, whenever your body wants to break, kind of tells you exactly how long of a life you would live, because there's no blockages restricting you from going farther. That was my journey. I can only dry fast 3 days at first, and then 5 days and 7 days. Now I'm doing 23 days, my last fast in Kerry, Ireland. So I'm here in Charleston, South Carolina, obviously a public park with a bunch of kids and squirrels, and pretty much I am answering a bunch of questions and commenting on my previous live stream. We got some, these kids might get involved. Oh, damn. Oh, you guys have a YouTube channel?
Hi, TikTok.
I knew it. You guys do have a YouTube channel. How long can you do this for? Those are some sick moves. Swag. Oh, man. Okay, so to move on, this might last like 30 minutes or an hour. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, they're gonna sleep well tonight. Peace. See ya. And so the previous live stream. Now my book isn't published yet. It's gonna be released this summer though. Hisama. But So the two concepts that I just commented on my story was that the nervous system gets really clean on a dry fast. So that's actually a really interesting topic that I don't think people really can really comprehend, because like a lot of people's nervous systems is actually occupied by mucus and bacteria and parasites. So scoliosis and like some kind of when you need to crack your neck and bones, that's usually nitrogen buildup. Don't worry, it's okay. She's getting stung by a bee. It's nothing crazy. Don't worry about it. Probably a bad place to do this live stream, but you end up having like these really cool epiphanies when your nervous system's really clear. So I found that the two things that unveiled to me, which it took me 8 dry fasts to learn this, but 8 long ones, which is you actually are kind of able to astral travel a lot more efficiently when your nervous system's clean. What I mean by that is when you have dream states, you are able to travel into different dimensions and different worlds. See if I can block this guy, it's kind of distracting. And so eventually, it'd be funny if he came into frame again. And then the second thing is that this is a big one. So whenever people are water fasting, like, why isn't this curing me? It's because you're actually allowing the pathogens to evade your immune system. And so you're pretty much, dehydration is what your bacteria, the bad bacteria, wants again, so that it can actually be mobile. When you're doing a dry fast, you're holding it still with solidified mucus. So the drying aspect is actually really productive, and it's exactly what your immune system does during your regular life. So if you create histamine, it's your white blood cells trying to slow down the pathogen so that it can peroxidize it. So when you're dry fasting, your mucus gets more solid and more solid until there's nowhere to go, and your body's eating the parasites because it wants energy and it wants the hydration from this infected fluid. So it's repossessing its internal fluids. Anyway, So I found that, so if you break a fast with a water fast, looking to get a full cure, you could be postponing the full cure, is what I'm trying to say. So getting through that solid matter phase will happen. It's just really hard to do. Dry fasting is a very hard thing to do. I don't recommend it to many people who going to 5-6 days, it's just like, okay, that's enough for me. So it's kind of like seeing if this is too difficult for you, and then if it is, then do something else. There's always symptom management. You can live a great life with symptoms, with the parasites still. You can coexist. It's just that I couldn't really, live with the fact that I was gonna have to live with my parasites. I didn't want to be hijacked by anything, because I feel like it was having a subtle impact on my brain and my neurology. And I find that when you get older, it crosses the blood-brain barrier and eventually causes Alzheimer's and things like that. You get very forgetful. Anyway, I'm gonna knock out some questions right now, and don't be afraid to ask any and all things. It doesn't have to be fasting related. Jayakar says, hey man, I'm starting a fast, but I'm experimenting not eating after working out. Is that okay? I'm eating 1 meal a day. Yeah, I think eating after you work out is great. I do like earlier meals in the day so that you can kind of exploit better the benefits of sleep. So sleeping, everyone's dry fasting. So if you eat early in the day, you're kind of not having to digest food when you're sleeping. So earlier meals, I think, is better. But I think that you should definitely have hydration and electrolytes if you're still incorporating working out. Next question is, good to see you, Holistic Gangsta. Going down here, I'm seeing some recognizable names. Desai Ashani says, hey Trevor, good to see you. I see that when you fast, you don't lose muscle. Being a vegetarian myself, when not fasting, should I include protein powder in my diet? I definitely don't think anybody, including meat eaters, should be including protein powders in their diet. There's very, very, very few protein powders that are not, they don't have like toxic ingredients that are actually calcifying your kidneys. I mean, it's a common thing that bodybuilders and these fitness freaks, they die at an early age because I think it's overconsumption of protein, especially the powder, which is unnatural. And so you have like artificial proteins. It's hard for the body to process that, but it can calcify the kidneys, like I said, and create blockages. So the one thing that the fruitarians and the raw vegans have is very clear skin, and it's very low protein diet, right? So you need you're allowing your skin, your kidneys, and your lungs to kind of process foods easier, so you're not having to deal with the sediment. So when you're fasting, you're actually processing the protein very early on, so your skin gets very clear. So the protein buildup is something that your body tackles very early on in a fast, just cleaning all the pathways so that your body can purify your blood. So that's the name of the game. When you purify the blood, you eventually cure the entire body. So clean blood is 100% purity, in my opinion. So obviously the intestines as well. But if you fast long enough, obviously there's a phrase, you make the blood as clean as glass. So you don't want much information in the blood, is how I put it, because the more information, the more your body's processing. It can be mucus, it can be mold, it can be lime. You don't want your body to deal with a whole bunch of stuff. You want it to be easy, and that goes as far as like mono mealing too. Like you don't want to combine like liquids and like multiple foods at once. Make things easy for your body so that it can work for you. So if I see anybody that's that's kind of like not understanding communication with their body, I feel bad for their body. So it's like obese people or people with like eczema. It's just like the inability to communicate with their body and understand the red flags and stop consuming artificial things. So that's what the purity thing is. This is what this health thing is like, where's the truthful information and where's the truthful foods? I only want to deal with those two things, and the truthful people. You just want to deal with capital T truth in every aspect. And I know I say that a lot, but you want to pretty much allow your body to understand what's going inside it, so everybody knows like fruit in the United States is not what it used to be. So you're pretty much digesting an orange, which is 8 times less effective as 100 years ago. So it's like genetically modified foods are not really interpreted by the pancreas. So the pancreas is releasing insulin, and if the insulin's like, we don't understand what this is, then it's just gonna be like an alien in the body. So the white blood cells are going to come out and create histamine and inflammation based on something that's not recognizable. So even real foods are not even recognized this day and age in certain countries. That's why a lot of things from America are banned in other countries as well. Hisma says, how does dry fasting impact dormant latent viruses in the nervous system? So this is a very controversial question because people think that a lot of things cannot be cured, right? And I think every single person on this planet is going to have to deal with an infectious disease, so it's going to be, these things are very infectious, and laboratories are making these bacterias that it's just evading your immune system because it's lacking a cell wall, so that your body cannot get rid of it as easy. It's slimier, and that's the consistency of a lot of these things. It's actually slimy, so your spit will actually just like hang, and it won't just fall out. It's just more mucousy, thick saliva, and that's occupied by bacteria. And so these kind of things are dormant within your spine and your nervous system and can actually create contortions of your bones, just like arthritis. Arthritis is actually a bacterial thing. So people think it's genetic. Of course, you're passed on that bacteria from a previous generation. But if you do anti-parasitic remedies, you're not dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, and you're not dealing with these kind of issues. So when things are dormant in your nervous system, your body wants that liquid. It doesn't matter if it's infected or not. It wants that hydration, just like it's drinking your fat. It wants the infected fluid because you're trying to survive. It's literally like me or you, and the body's going to choose itself. It's selfish, and it wants to prioritize survival. And that's why it takes back those infected fluids that are actually dormant in your nervous system, your nerve ganglion. And I hope this is making some sense to you guys. But that's so if you don't go long enough, what ends up happening is during the fast, you'll actually rash out along your chest and back if you have that kind of thing that's dwelling within your nervous system. And if you do go, so if you don't go long enough, it's allowing that to recolonize the body, and then you'll really see the impact of that parasite as you break the fast. And that's why people hate fasting, is because they never go long enough. And I'm the crazy person that's actually gone long enough, where you're kind of getting close to death, but that's sadly the part where parasites die completely. So you want to do this properly. You want to prep well. This is obviously not medical advice to fast really long, but you want to prep well and clean the blood, clean the intestines, get electrolytes in the body, and make sure you're going into the fast hydrated, and with a lot of minerals, like I like to talk about with sea moss and mineral-rich foods. So can tooth cavity be cured through fasting? So cavities obviously, in my opinion, can be caused by sugars circulating in the body, but also acidity. So acidity is actually going through the lymph and reaching the gums, and it forms around the tooth, and it can cause cavities. So you can eat real foods, brush your teeth with your own concoction that you make, which is number one ingredient is having baking soda, the aluminum-free baking soda. So now if there is acidity in your body, you're actually localizing that baking soda to your gums and preventing acidity from reaching the teeth. So you obviously want to have baking soda-rich toothpaste for adults and for kids, because eventually that lymph will actually reach the gums, like I said, and create the cavity. And I like to do anti-parasitic things as well. So you want to incorporate baking soda. You want to even rubbing apple cider vinegar on your gums every now and then is very anti-parasitic. You don't want to do it too often because it'll strip your enamel. And incorporate bentonite clay in the toothpaste as well, and that'll kind of pull on the toxicity. So you alkalize and you pull the toxicity, and every now and then I would suggest actually soft bristle toothbrush, dab it in apple cider vinegar, and do it on your gums, and don't get it on your teeth. So that's the best way to do it. Fasting will actually cure the parasites in the body, so it can be very beneficial to infections and problems within the teeth. But I do think you can create acidity in the teeth through fasting and through doing the toothpaste concoction that I mentioned. Consistency Key Official, he says, how long of a fast do you recommend for a long COVID vaccine injury, and what diet would be the best for it coming off a long fast of 7 days? So it's kind of like known this day. It's been a very short period of time since COVID, and so it seems to be the magic number is 9 days dry fasted, where you can purify the blood enough to get the vaccine formulation or mRNA out of your blood. You kind of reset the body just enough with 9 days. So that's personally what I would do. There is one other method of cleaning the blood, but I forget it. It's a really long word. You can do it without fasting, but obviously I like the process I like for my daily routine is starting the day on an empty stomach with a little bit of iodine and sea moss, anti-parasitic remedy with the minerals. And then even having like a half shot of apple cider vinegar, like in a glass of water 30 minutes after that, now you started your day off with like 2 very anti-parasitic things. And that's when you can start going into your daily diet, whatever it might be. You can do fruits, juices, kefir, whatever you want to do. So yeah, this live stream is actually going pretty well. I think I'm going to post this. Yeah, so Ella Navi says, do you eat breakfast? Yeah, what I would just say is I'm bottom heavy with my diet in the day. So obviously I want to expose the benefits of healing during my sleep. So I'm actually ending my meals earlier in the day. So if I can, I'm not having a single calorie after 4 p.m. And this is the easiest way to lose weight. So you actually just try to stay away from carbs and don't eat after 2 p.m. and you will shed the weight that you're looking to shed and start leaning out. And you didn't get too old. You're not just gaining weight because you got older. You can lose and get leaner at any age. So you want to clean the thyroid for that and then make your dinners at an earlier time. So yes, I eat breakfast. I like simple answers for things, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, buy my book and like I got a pamphlet you should pay $1,000 for. Here's my course. Just get healthy. That's payment enough. It's fine. I'd rather see people have cognitive just clarity in the world so they can make better decisions, because I do think parasites are to blame for a lot of things. Honestly, they make insects and animals. This is a crazy thing, but like even insects and animals, when they're infected by a parasite, they'll be more inclined to take their own lives, and human beings are very resilient creatures that can, they're harder to take down. So when they get infected by a mucus microorganism, it can make you depressed constantly, and you'll never know how much joy you can experience without clearing that out. Like physical health equates to your life enjoyment, in my opinion. Vito will contact you in the DMs, so I'll try to remember Vito. So just message me on one of my posts, and I'll find it quicker than the DMs. The DMs are full of people asking a lot of questions. Luke Stan says, what do you think about the horrible city air during a fast if we cannot go in the countryside? Definitely get out of the cities when you're fasting. The air becomes way more important to have clean during a fast than you ever would imagine. So this plays in your normal life too. I always have a window open when I'm sleeping to because the air is trying to clean me as well. It's not just me, my body doing it. So you want fresh flowing air that's living, just like living water. But in a city, you'll realize when you get to day 8, day 9, it's like, this is inconvenient. How did Trevor drive fast this long? It's because you're putting yourself in a very unclean environment where your blood can't filter through your lungs as efficiently. So get to the countryside and get to a high, humid, not too hot area. I'm probably going to do a few more questions. There's a lot of mosquitoes here in Charleston, and I think they like my sugary blood now that I'm broke the fast and my blood sugar is spiked. So Gabe Mason says, say someone has already experienced a smaller dry fast, but not money on the side of afford to stop working. Okay, not enough money to take time off work. Do you think it's possible to go 20 days still working? So Gabe, like my perspective on that was like, I was building a business and I had a partner in some projects, and my health was more important than the money, and I know it sounds like an extreme thing to say, but I'm like an intense person. So like, if I'm going to fast and take some time off for myself, that is okay if they fire me, because I'm going to be smarter at the end of it and be more clear-minded and more purified to make better decisions. So me starting a business without that partner or without that job is totally fine with me, because I can just restart and take care of my health, which is always affecting me 24/7, every single minute. So that's pretty much what I would do. Just try to get your work to allow you to take more time off, and don't imagine that you can go like 20 days right from the start. You want to start, small and do what you can handle, like 3 days and then 5 days. I like odd number incrementals, and follow my prepping advice like I've said. Art of Ascension says, hey dear, so lovely to see you once again. Was wondering what your opinion on curing HIV with a dry fast, and how long would you recommend? Yeah, so HIV is a blood-borne illness. Some people think it doesn't exist. I'm one of the people that does think that there's physical evidence for every single thing that's going on in the body, and unfortunately doctors don't have the test, or they're just not letting their clients or customers see the tests that they actually do have an infection or parasite. So everyone's like, autoimmune disease, your body's like attacking itself. It's never the case. Like, your body's on your team, and the doctors and pharmaceutical industry want you to think that it's not. So they give you prednisone and like things that halt your immune system. It's a pretty evil thing, honestly. So I would say that HIV, anything gets cured within the blood if you fast long enough. It can be done with a water fast or a dry fast. You just have to do, build up and ladder up, like I said. And eventually, if you go long enough, you will cure it. But make sure you have enough fat on the body to embark on a dry fast. Because if you're too skinny and you do a dry fast, it can be fatal. It's not really a safe thing if you're too lean and too skinny. Your body needs the fat ammunition. Chill Bo Pro says, yo bro, you've looked into quantum healing and Qigong. It can cure anything. I completely believe you, and I definitely will look into quantum healing. I think that's a great idea. I would love for there to be an easier outlet than for people to starve long periods of time, but this is the only thing I found that genuinely cures things. But quantum healing, I think, hasn't been completed. Yeah, I mean, maybe it cannot be completely researched, but I think that there's amazing potential in quantum healing, and hopefully that becomes more ubiquitous with the information, because I would love to look into that more if it's out there. It's hard to really trust people. They're like, hey, this cured me. It's like, did it really? Or are you just symptom management? It's just like, it's hard to know who's right and who's wrong, right? Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how far behind I'm here. So Katie Kiki Coco says, hey, hello Trevor, I live in a big city, therefore do you think body gets clean enough only by fasting food? Yeah, I think that if you're not spiking your blood sugar for long periods of time, you can clean the body and the immune system is enhanced. But, it's really the fasting. Like, I had 3, incurable things that are all separate from each other. That's what makes me, like, good at doing this, is because I've experienced what people are trying to heal from, and I can relate to them. A lot of doctors don't have that experience. So I know how to address certain things even outside of fasting. But yeah, I mean, it's just symptom management. If you want to do some symptom management, it's the same process I said before, which is the higher dose iodine to start the day, the apple cider vinegar 30 minutes after that, then do a diet that's not spiking your blood sugar that much, like very little, and then end your day with apple cider vinegar and like a glass of water, and that'll meet your parasites within the blood that are trying to feed off your sugars and prevent them from actually creating inflammation. And just keep staying very hydrated off living water with some lemon inside it. Xphil 100 says, do you know FAP? Yeah, I don't FAP. I don't even know what FAP stands for. But I definitely feel like my energy points can travel outside of my root chakra by me not engaging in like that activity. Plus, like, obviously, I'm not sure if you saw my story from last month with pornography, but pornography is owned by the same industry that's kind of like taking over politics in like Canada and certain areas of the world that are very left, that it's kind of like almost exposing itself to be very an evil motives, that's just a whole transgender thing, teaching to kids and stuff like that. It's pretty disgusting. And the pornography industry is owned by the people who own that. Like, so imagine that. So they want you to watch porn so that you become more infertile, essentially. It's like anti-humanity. But it's very tempting because you get the curiosity and the sexual energy by watching porn. But at the end of the day, you get more insecure. And then your relationships with the people you love becomes stunted, and that's the biggest motivation for me. Like, I want to be able to make eye contact with every single person I come across. Not only that, but be very confident and be present for them to help them. But if you're watching porn, you're pretty much just kind of creepy and just like a very insecure person, I would say, and you're lacking that chi that everyone can really sense on a person. You walk into a room and everyone's like, whoa, this is like an energy, and a very loving energy. I can trust this person. And that's kind of like prevented when you do something like that. Anyway, next question. Raul Pia Parata says, my question when it comes to oat milk, cashew milk, soy milk, almond milk, I've seen posts and read it actually. Yeah, I think that I kind of stay away from those things, and I would recommend any client that I have to stay away from like these nut milks, because nut milks are high in arginine. And sometimes they have emulsifiers in them too. So the arginine and the emulsifiers can cause issues. Emulsifiers can cause tumors in the intestines, and the arginine, whatever you want to pronounce it as, feeds parasites. So they can come out of hiding. Say the eczema comes out of the skin, goes into the bloodstream when you have these nut milks, and feeds on these things because it's sugary and it has that protein that parasites love. I'm going to do a few more because I'm actually getting fed on by these mosquitoes. How long does it take? Okay. Yeah, hisma, it takes more than 15 days for like hardcore illnesses. Okay. Rob Helder says, okay, this is a good question. How long dry fast does it take to cleanse 2 swollen lymph nodes? So sometimes doctors will want to cut out your lymph nodes. Definitely don't do that. Like, dry fasting is the most anti-inflammatory thing you do. Even if the lymph nodes are very swollen, like concrete, you can still get rid of them through saunas and dry fasting. But for me, it really took like 12 to 13 day dry fast to completely eliminate really swollen lymph nodes I had below my chin, here. And so it told me that I had like mucus issue in my headspace because it was dumping through my ears into my my neck area, right? So that's what lymphoma is. It's pretty much deriving from usually a single origin and inflaming the entire lymphatic system. So it can essentially cause inflammation within all your lymph nodes based on just an infection by your ear or something like that, So iodine, high dose iodine will actually do the best work at this, by the way. So go join this group on Facebook called Iodine Protocols and look at what people are doing and type in swollen lymph and you'll see people have success stories. This person says there's a moth on my left. Oh, sorry. Vito, there's not a moth. I think it's just a leaf. Thank you for I'm trying to get through these questions and comments as fast as possible. Yeah, so Mercy Adota says, can PCOS and infertility issues be cured with fasting? Yeah, I've had clients with that, and it's been very successful with that. Infertility issues, I think usually are caused by sometimes a lack of minerals in the female, which causes like subpar hormonal balance in the female. But you want to amp up the CMOS, amp up these high mineral foods, but also like there's biofilm surrounding the female egg that's not allowing the sperm to enter the egg, and that's by design. So you want to be able to just disintegrate that biofilm that's preventing the semen from getting into the egg. So how you can do that is by Googling biofilm disruptor, take that alongside high dose iodine, and you got yourself a baby. Oh my goodness. So I'm creating a product that's kind of like a fertility complex. It's involving all those things, and hopefully that allows people to get pregnant again. Dasani Ashani says, when you're doing a fasting, a lot of people get acidity. Why is that? So usually, in my opinion, can come from stagnant acids in the body that's just being purged. But a lot of time people don't clean the intestines well enough, so that stomach acid will make its way to the intestines to help digestion when you have stagnant foods. So why that's important is because that's actually circulating the body now, the stomach acids. And then you got the lactic acids and the uric acid as well, that's causing that kind of issue. So whenever your body's trying to digest, use glycogen in your muscle stores, and it cannot be reached by your oxygen, that turns into acidity as well. So that turns into lactic acid when the oxygen cannot circulate and reach your muscle tissue. So that essentially is why people need massages and they feel sore. It's because the oxygen is not getting to those parts of your body. And so once again, iodine and high potassium electrolytes will actually resolve that. And you'll find that you never need massages essentially. To get rid of heavy metals, Sophie Leger, I once again like iodine, and the long fast really dig deep and really detoxify the body completely. And I do find that 11 days is pretty much a very good number for getting rid of a lot of the heavy metals. I'm trying to think of what else is there. Sometimes you can add like a quarter teaspoon of bentonite clay in some smoothies, and that can really be helpful as well. Next question. How do you... Okay. I don't know what that is. Gary's rope. How do you clean your thyroid? You clean the thyroid. So this is the misconception of around the modern medical knowledge. It's pretty much that, when you start taking higher doses of iodine equates to longevity. So parts of the world that have higher iodine intake, they live longer lifespans. Japan in particular, Okinawa, just like sea vegetation. So you clean your thyroid by actually fasting and also doing like higher iodine, routines. So they can cause goiters. People say like a lump on your thyroid, but that's really just a parasite that's congealing around your thyroid to be inflamed temporarily. But if you keep your foot on the gas pedal with the iodine, it'll cleanse eventually. But I wouldn't take a blood test while you're taking high iodine, because your doctor will be freaked out, say hyperthyroidism. But you just stop taking it for 24 hours, and what do you know? Like, you don't have hyperthyroidism anymore. All right. I'm kind of getting annihilated by these mosquitoes. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions. Okay, yeah, soulless mango, you definitely need to cleanse the body before you fast. So you're not allowing for many obstructions to prevent you from going farther, so when you're fasting, some people can faint on day 2, day 3. It's because their blood is getting too thick, or because they have too much mucus in the body. So you want to clean out the mucus as much as you can so that the circulation is not compromised initially. You want your body to do its natural process without having any like initial thickness. I just swallowed like a mosquito. So this person, the Jessica Michelle, says, what can you do as far as fasting to restore the eyesight and heal dry eyes? So any dry part of the body, even when you're hydrating fully, is essentially your hydration is being hijacked by bacteria that's controlling that area. So that's in your headspace. So imagine what's going on in your brain as well. In your brain, you're also experiencing that as well. It's not just your eyes, because your eyes are your brain. That's why they're so interesting to look at with people, because it tells you the health and the general, energy of that person. But you can obviously, the fasting, doing 1 day a week alongside a low blood sugar spiking diet and the high iodine as well. Sorry. Okay, I already answered that. Host an event in Charleston. Yeah, I probably should host an event in Charleston. I was going to do like a fasting retreat in Australia, but it's literally just too expensive out there. And it'd just be so much time and money invested for, it's a lot of work to host a retreat. And I would break even pretty much and couldn't even afford a flight back home. Okay, cool. Some kind of technical glitch now. Okay. Hopefully there's no technical glitch anymore. Thank you. So March 8th was my birthday, HISMA, and I'm in my late 30s, I'll say that. If you watch the other videos, I come out with my age as well. This is a great question. Steffi Tom, do you think cancer is a parasitic disease? This is actually a really controversial question, so I'm one of those people that thinks everything is derived by parasitic means. Yes, you can get cancer from just having a poor diet, but the thing is, the diet feeds the bacteria, the parasites that's undiscovered by, there's no blood tests in the United States, and people are getting cancers, and people just don't understand why. So what ends up happening, this is the process, simple process. So say somebody has like an eye that's bulging out, or it's like a breast like lump, there's lumps. These are like solidified inflammation, so that's the whole thing. So why is there inflammation? It's because there's bacteria that's coming out of hiding, and it's blocked in a certain area, and it's feeding on that whatever, it could be any blood sugar spike. It's going to feed, and sometimes there gets to be a kink. It can't really flow anymore, and the body's not able to get rid of it quick enough. So say if you're staying on a certain diet that the parasite likes, you're constantly feeding that bacteria that creates the inflammation, and eventually that inflammation solidifies. This can happen behind the eye, this can happen anywhere in the body, pancreas. So it's really important to do anti-parasitic things to create circulation, because movement is life. When movement stops, that's cancer and that's death, right? So you want to do anti-parasitic things. Bulldoze these blockages within the blood with biofilm disruptors, enzymes, and you want to clean the blood with what, like I said, the iodine and the apple cider vinegar. Don't let people like monetize this. You can buy all this stuff for super cheap. Both of these things are super cheap. And if you want to be very healthy, you can do 1 day of fasting each week. That's what I call the day of rest. Sunday is supposed to be a fasting day. So all these churches really are just trying to help you purify your temple. That was the origin of religion, I think. And then you find religion within yourself. It doesn't have to come from a person telling you what to do. It can come from yourself, revelations that occur from you just being physically healthy. So let the energy flow and the revelations will come. That's exactly why I like talking after these long fasts, so I can just get it off my chest, what I've learned from nothing. I didn't read a book. I'm just kind of digesting, energy and information that's coming to me in that clean state, right? So how much water is required to intake daily? So when you fast long periods of time, you learn to communicate with your body, and eventually you learn what true hydration is. So you know exactly when it's enough. And you can see in your skin. I look at my arm, I look at my lips, or just my skin will kind of tell the whole story, and that pretty much tells me if I need to keep drinking. Generally you'll just feel thirsty, so sometimes you can get that from food, fruits and living water, but if it's not real water, it'll just go right through you. You'll just piss it right out. And if it's taking minerals from you, you'll stay thirsty. Anything that's not giving to the body, like any minerals, then it's just not going to be wanted. So you got to learn these things so that you can communicate with your body. So I've cured everything. Ascension of affirmations. I don't have 20/20 vision, but I'm really, really close. Obviously, I don't mind fasting, so I'm going to do another fast again to completely resolve it. But I had way worse vision, and I'm almost there. So that's pretty much it. Soulless mango, I think you're right. Fasting is the last step. It's kind of like a delicate laddering up of detoxification, because people do these really innocent detoxes, and eventually they find their way to fasting. They're like, oh, this might work. And then they start kind of flirting with the idea, and then they become crazy like me and do some really long fasts. Thank you very much, Sophie Leger. I'm trying to get down to the bottom of this commentary. Soulless mango, that is hilarious. It says, don't drink and spill your nut milk. That combines two concepts we talked about. That should be the name of my book. Don't drink and spill your nut milk. Can you speak on fasting and fertility? I just spoke about it. I'm going to post this live stream so you can watch it. It'll probably be around minute 14. Okay. Where's the habit of binge eating? How would you recommend coming to dry fasting? So binge eating is an interesting concept that comes from your bacteria wanting to recolonize. It's wanting good bacteria and bad bacteria. So when you're eating, when you eradicate a lot of the bacteria with fasting or chemotherapy, or maybe you are doing antibiotics, it's going to want to repopulate. It has a mind of its own. It's cultures within the body. The healthier bacteria, the healthier you are. Your immune system is essentially your bacteria. It's like an internal war. So binge eating is pretty much you satiating those voices. So you won't feel like you're finished until that they had repopulation. And when you starve them too much, then you have these cravings again. But the cravings go away after day 5. You don't crave the same foods. What does that tell you? It tells you that bacteria no longer has an impact over you. It doesn't have a voice anymore. Okay. I think I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to do one more question. I'm sorry if I missed your question. It's either because I didn't understand the word you said, or I'm just trying to get through this in a quick period of time. Okay. So Jessica Michelle, to further answer the question regarding the eyesight and dry eyes, you clean the lymph with fasting and the antiparasitic modalities. So if the lymph is cleaned, that means you're actually repossessing your internal fluids so that they're no longer hijacked by the fluid. That can make your lips dry. It can make a certain patch on your elbow dry. That's no longer compromised fluid. You don't want your fluids to be compromised. You want them to be your fluids. Your body's using them for what you want, so it can drag out and clean the body. And that happens with the fasting and the things that I spoke about. How can we change your eye color? You can change your eye color by cleaning your body. So essentially your iridology is cleansed by cleaning out the mucus and the biofilm existing in the intestinal walls. So just focus on those two things, and you'll be good. So I'm gonna host a fasting retreat this year, but it looks like I'm gonna have to do it in a more affordable place. I did Guatemala last time. Diana Marcial, I'll probably be doing it in Guatemala again. I feel like I really know that area well and can guide people in a really cool vacation and healing experience. Last time people were very happy with it. Heavy metals and okay, cool. Carly sent so oftentimes when people got the long COVID or any mucosal bacteria infection, their eyesight can worsen, so there's two ways that can happen. One, you have an injury that's pushing on your orbital bone and it's squeezing your eyeball, kind of like you're squeezing like a grape, and that contorts your eyesight. The other is that your lymph is too it's too mucousy. So the mucus exists within your eyes, and it can compromise your vision. So clean the mucus and you'll better the eyes. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so the grape cleanse, there's a YouTube video online for someone who did a 40-day grape cleanse. Yeah, you can clean out the intestines, but it's no cure, you know. So the person did not cure themselves with a 40-day grape cleanse. They did it perfectly. It just, you'll resolve and clean out the intestines, but I don't think there's anything more than that available there. Do you feel like, okay, this person says, this everything world says, do you feel like breatharianism is possible, that there are people who have achieved this? It's a great question. I know that I need to break a fast on day 21 of a dry fast. So that's as far as I can go. So there's people convinced, there's people that are convinced that breatharianism is possible. There is a state when your body loses so much weight that it finds an equilibrium where if you have humid air, you can actually live off that hydration, just breathing. But like I said in previous live streams, you have to be in a very healthy area that you can breathe off of mineral-rich, humid air. All right, I'm gonna go to the last, sorry, I said this many times. Yeah, I'll go for the last question. Okay, all right, okay, here we go. When they're, okay, yeah, so Mercy Adota, it just comes down to, just cleaning out the lymph and getting biofilm out of the body, and you're going to enhance the ability to have a baby, but also prevent miscarriages, in my opinion. You just want the blockages out of there, because that's going to prevent every single functionality in the body, especially oxygen retention. All right, okay, last question. Regarding iodine amounts, go on that Facebook group, like I told you, iodine protocols, or DM me and I'll give you the iodine protocol. Hey, based on what you said, okay. Now you can do, okay, Chill Bro Pro says, should we not do shorter fasts? You definitely should do shorter fasts. The benefit of it is that you're kind of cleaning, you're getting human growth hormone, which is beneficial. You're getting in ketosis and regenerating your liver, and you're also flushing out your fat cells, which may be stagnant liquids you had for over a decade, you know, so that liquids are holding information, so that way you'll start to re-experience memories and traumas that you may have forgotten. So it's time to process those and flush the lymph out and replenish it with nice coconut lemon water, and pretty much change the oil on the car, you know. So all right, cool. All right, perfect. If I didn't answer your question, I'll do another live stream soon. This was a very random, spontaneous thing here in this Charleston park. It's St. Patty's Day, which everyone's getting super drunk. I won't be doing that. I'm like going away from the people and like chilling in the park and enjoying nature, getting annihilated by mosquitoes. But I will post this live stream and post that on my story as well. Much love to all you guys. Hopefully I didn't speak too fast for you. And be well and enjoy the weekend. Much love. See you.